Hammer time, baby. Good morning, beautiful people of Instagram. This is Jose Trujillo. Just got to my art studio, and welcome to another session of Hammer time. All right. I want to talk to you about this today. I hope you guys can see it. I want to talk to you about this cool stuff. This little thing. Look at the back of it. Look at that. Let's see if you can see what I can see. There you go. Oh, look at that. My nails are super dirty. Look at that. Embossed. This is a little certificate of authenticity that I put in with my paintings. I put it right there next to the painting, behind the painting, around the painting. I don't know, next to a frame, whatever, right? It's there. I want to talk to you about it because artists seem to be having trouble with this little thing. They want to know what this thing is about. How do you do it? And how legit is it? Is this legit as your signature, guys? This certificate of authenticity is something that you're signing, and you're saying that the work is authentic, that you created the work, that the work is not a reproduction, that the work is just handmade, by you. That's all it really means. It's handmade by you. And if it's a print, well, that there's only so many runs, right? There's only so many out of a run, not runs, but out of a run. There's 10 prints only created, and then you put 1 of 10 or 3 of 10 or whatever, right? Whatever the one you sold, or 100 prints. It doesn't matter what it is. So I want to talk to you guys about the little certificate of authenticity. The high-end word for it is provenance. Oh, this is the provenance. The reality is that people like it. Okay? People that buy like it. Auctions like it. Like when your work gets put in a auction house or something later on. Auctions like it. Secondary market likes it. Meaning, like auction houses and small galleries and retail spaces, they like it. And everybody likes it. Reason why? It's because it's another reinforcement, right? Besides your signature on your artwork, it's another little thing that says, hey, check it out. It's real. My work is real. My work is legit. I painted it. Here's my signature. What I recommend people doing with this thing is what a lot of people don't do, is put their info, their personal info. I don't know, guys. Like if you're not willing to put personal info, I don't get it. There's a lot of artists who don't like putting personal info on their stuff. They're like, I don't want to put my address. Like, they're afraid that someone's going to go knock on your door and say, here's your shitty painting, give me my money back. Or for whatever reason. How's it going? Good morning. The reality is that you want to be able to put your info. For example, in mine, I take it a little extra. Okay, let me go through it really quick. Here is a little logo, right? Little logo. You don't have to spend so much time and no Photoshop or none of that stuff. You really don't have to. Okay? So here's my little logo, my signature. It says Jose Trujillo. These are so old that I used to put impressionist artists just because of the way I marketed myself. I know my work. It's not necessarily impressionism. I do a lot of different stuff. But that's how I started marketing myself. Sort of impressionist landscapes and whatnot. And portraits. That certificate of authenticity says right here. And then underneath it's like Jose Trujillo original oil painting. If you want to make them more general, it could say, I don't know, Jose Trujillo, well, use your name, right? Original artwork. Yeah. And then you have another one for prints. I have another one for prints that I use. Because the prints is a certificate of limitation, right? Which means how many prints you created per run. Anyways, this is for original artwork, original paintings. And then I put title, medium, dimensions, and then that's pretty much it. The other stuff is like makes no sense. It's like whatever. But title, medium, dimensions, and then my signature, bam, the year, bam, and then I stamp it. I go a little extra to stamp it. See, you can see I emboss the thing. Look at that. Look at that. Bam. It gets embossed. So I think that's a really cool addition. Look at that. Ooh la la. Check it out. Very cool, huh? Just gives it a little extra punch of being legit. Too legit to quit. And then what I wanted to talk to you about, it's not necessarily just the certificate, because I know a lot of people do it. Look, guys, put your studio info. Don't be afraid. Put your studio info, put your email. I didn't put my email here. I put my phone number because I'm cool like that. I put my address and my phone number, the studio phone number. Because I want people to feel assured that I'm not going anywhere. Okay? Which brings me to the next topic. You want to be able to let people know, people, art collectors, art buyers, you want to be able to let them know that they can count on you. It's a very strange thing, guys, but I mean, it's not so strange, but it comes strange to artists. Many artists don't know how to do this, and I know because I've been an artist a while, and I've seen how artists behave, and many times we like to operate kind of secretive, you know. My studio, my things, my strategies, my style, I need to watermark my paintings, and on and on and on. There's this fear of. It's so funny, right? Because being an artist is about being expressing out, sharing your work, showing it to the world. But so many of us are so effing afraid, and many artists don't go the extra step, which I don't even think is an extra step, of putting their actual info, their studio info, and their phone number, their email, their whatever. If you have a Gmail, whatever. An email there, right? A phone number, legit phone number. What I mean by that is a landline or something that is physical in the studio. If not, a cell phone is fine as long as you don't keep changing that number. It has to be a set number. It has to be something that people can feel like they're working with someone who is professional. I want my collectors to feel that if they didn't like what they have, I know this is very counterintuitive to many artists out there, because they say I'm not Walmart. They start bitching about that, but what I mean by bitching, I mean complaining. Okay, they start doing that, and I get like, man, like, why don't you want your collector to feel like, dude, this guy's a real player. This girl's a real player. She's not going anywhere. You know, she's here to stay. Just think for a second what that does to your collector. I collect artwork. I don't collect like super expensive stuff, but I collect artwork. I like to collect artwork. It's my thing. It's my jam. It's my hobby. Okay, I paint for a living. I'm an artist, and I like to collect artwork. When I see an art that I like, the very first thing that I think, because I like to collect. For two reasons. My wife likes to collect for like, I like the painting, right? But I really like to collect for two reasons. I like to collect because I'm looking at art as an investment. I know art is an investment. There's only two sure things right now in the economy. And it's real estate and art, guys. It's real estate and art. A lot of people don't know this. I love collecting artwork for that reason. Because it's a sure game. It's a sure deal. It goes up in value. But here's the criteria of how I choose to collect art. I see something I like, of course, because I want to live with it, right? Because I'm going to live with it for a while. Or I'm going to store it. If I'm not going to hang it, I'm going to store it, and then maybe I'll hang it, and then I'll take it down and store it in a dark place, in a dark box, of course, for the sunlight not to get in there and whatnot. The criteria that I do it for is how much is this artist impacting the market. If the artist is impacting the market, if I see that the artist has been, in a platform on Etsy, on eBay, on whatever, right? Other platforms. It doesn't matter where, but if they've been in the game and then they put their address, they put their phone number, they're there to stay. They're punching into the market. Automatically, a flag, a good one, not a flag, a light bulb goes up in my head, right? Because I've gotten artwork where I purchased the work for like $100, 5 years ago, and now the work is like $700 now, like little paintings, right? And I purchased some bigger paintings, some more substantial prices, but it's because the artist is in the market. It's in the market. So why wouldn't you want to tell your collector? This is one of the reasons collectors buy art. A lot of people don't tell you this. A lot of people tell you that I buy it because, I want it over the sofa or whatever. But in the back of their mind, they're thinking, man, this is a real player. So my job as an artist is to let people know, people that are going to buy from me, is to let them know, look, I am here to stay. In any situation, I want to tell them I'm here to stay. Because me as a collector, see, you have to think like them. If you sell coffee, you better be a coffee drinker. Otherwise, you can't talk about coffee. Otherwise, you can't recommend coffee, right? It's not legit if you're selling coffee and you don't buy coffee. It's not legit if you're selling Nikes and you wear Reebok. It's not legit. It doesn't make any sense, right? So if you sell artwork, it will do you tremendous good to buy artwork. And I'm not saying to become a collector. That's not what I'm saying. Go buy artwork and see what you're thinking when you're buying artwork. Go buy a few pieces, a couple of pieces. It doesn't have to be something super expensive, but start noticing what it is, what the criteria is. Not just read about it, but start feeling what goes through your mind. And one of the things that I learned that goes through my mind is this a real player? Or is this just some guy or girl that's a weekend artist? They're just painting on the weekend and they like it, they have fun. That's cool, right? But since I'm thinking about collecting, right? Since I'm thinking about collecting, about increasing in value, I'm thinking, what is this artist doing in the marketplace? How long has this artist been in the marketplace? Now, I don't care. Again, I don't care if it's Facebook. How long has this artist been there? What is the crowd like? Do people respond to him or her? Are people responding to this artist? Is this artist doing anything to further their career? Does this artist promote his or her studio number, phone number, brick and mortar, a physical address that I know that the artist is playing? It's playing real. The artist is not hiding somewhere in a garage and not even showing a phone number, much less a street, an address, right? The reason why I say this is because you make a commitment. When I started giving people the info, people that buy the work, of course, the info, right? Or people that are on your platform, right? On your sales, wherever you're selling, you give the info. If you want to reach me, right? You put a phone number, physical effing phone number. You put a physical address. You can reach me. You can write here. If there is no contact, physical contact, I think that you're just bluffing. I think that you're hoping that it works, and maybe then you'll move to that point. So therefore, I don't think that I should buy artwork from you, because see, it's stupid, right? But that little thing, it's a deal breaker for me, and I know it is for other artists, other collectors. When people collect my art, many times they'll call the studio, and they just want to say hi. I know that it's not necessarily that they just want to say hi. I know they want to know that they're counting on me to continue producing artwork, so that their investment, right? Their investment, the work they bought, the artwork they bought from me, is legit, because they're looking at it as an investment. So they buy something from me today for $500, right? They buy a painting for $500 or whatever. They're thinking in the back of their mind, in 10 years, right? In 10 years, the way this artist is moving, the way this artist is in the marketplace, he continues to sell, he continues to show up in the marketplace. In 10 years, this work is easily going to be 3-4 times more its price. In 10 years, easily, right? Not twice, 3-4 times more. Just because artwork skyrockets. When you stay in the marketplace, artwork keeps going up. It just keeps going up. This is why I always tell people, look, if you become an artist, play the serious game. What I mean by that is don't plug and unplug. Don't plug and unplug. Play the serious game, because people that are buying from you, they're counting on that. They really are. And because there's two ways of going up in value. There's the vintage factor, right? That has to artwork by unknown artists that is 50 years old. That's 40, 30 years old, whatever vintage is, right? It goes up in value automatically. But artwork by someone who pushed into the marketplace, created some sort of name for himself or herself, created some sort of little name somewhere, right? A little following. I'm going to give you an example. The Highwaymen, Florida Highwaymen, the painters. There was a group of African-American painters. These guys were phenomenal. They created work. And because being African American in the I think it was the 60s, all the way to the early 80s, I don't know, but they had a hard time in the galleries, right? Because our history's stupid like that, right? So they had a hard time in the galleries. So what they did, getting in exhibiting, right, for being African American, and what they did was that they started exhibiting in the highways, in the Florida highways. And they got the name, the Florida Highwaymen, highway painters. 30, 40 years later, 50 years later, or whatever, because it was a good chunk of time that they were doing this. The paintings are now worth, so much more than what they could have sold it for. Then it's because they created a little pocket, a little movement, right? All these artists got together and created a little movement. Same thing is going to happen, guys. Same thing is going to happen with the daily painters. There's a lot of daily painters out there. 30, 40 years from now, the movement, right? The little movement of the daily painters, people are going to try to buy, okay, who were the main players in the daily painter movement? And those are going to go up higher in value. It's just the way it is. So if you create a little bit of a name for yourself, people are hoping that. Because artwork, again, real estate, especially rentals, real estate and art just keeps going up in value. It's just the way it is. I don't know how long that's going to be, but I know that for artwork, the market has always been that. That's why people love investing in art. Especially, again, people that are here in the market to stay, not dabblers, not people that go in and go out, because that will get sold as vintage. I just gave you an example of vintage, right? If you create a name for yourself, you get two factors, right, to go up in value. You get the vintage factor, which is, this painting is, 40 years old or whatever. You put it in an auction, people will know, this is a vintage. You put the year, they see the year, and automatically it will go higher in price just because it's older. It's got the vintage factor. That will never go away. People like vintage stuff. Just like in the 90s, we were all in love with stuff from the 60s. Right now, people are in love with stuff from the 80s, right? It's the vintage, right? The people are buying Walkmans or the original Walkmans, right? Higher prices. People are buying, I don't know, funny artwork from the 90s at higher prices right now than what they were sold in the 90s, in the actual early 90s, right? Or 80s, early 80s, I mean to say. So you get two things helping you. You get the vintage factor, and then you get your name. If you made a little bit of a name, boom, it goes up. Just because you've had people backing up that your artwork is. See, the reason why is because if you made a little bit of name, what people do is a lot of people can't wait. A lot of people will buy your work and will try to sell it in the secondary market, third market, tertiary market, I guess it would be called. I don't know. This is what a lot of people do with my work. They go and they buy it. When I started on auctions in eBay, they would go and buy it, and then they can't hold on to it. Which I'm totally cool with it, because what they're doing is that they're buying it, right? And then they're putting it back into the market. This is the beauty of this whole effing game, guys. This is what people don't get. This is the beauty of this game. You want people to buy your work and then put it back into the market. Because if they hold on to it too long, only so many people can see it. But if they put it back into the market, then someone else bought it. And then 5 years later, someone else puts it back into the market. Someone else bought it. Kind of like real estate, right? That's why art and real estate go hand in hand. A lot of people that buy real estate also invest in art, and vice versa. It goes hand in hand because it gets put back into the market. Every time it gets washed into the market, it goes up in price. When it gets pulled out, someone buys it. They're buying it for a higher price. When they throw it back into the market, it's going to be sold for a higher price. And that's the beauty of it. It has to be washed. Picasso explained to this perfectly to one of his friends, a photographer. He told him, just produce artwork and get it out. It has to go out into the world. What he was talking about is it has to get into the marketplace. To the marketplace. Beyond you. So what does that mean? It's totally legit when you put your real, I like that word today, too legit to quit. When you put your real info, you put a physical address, you put a phone number, you put an email, you put your website. You're telling people, look, you can count on me. I'm coming back. I'm actually not coming back. I'm not leaving. That's what you're trying to tell them. So I talked about this in other videos. What is the most important thing of your certificate of authenticity? Two things. Your signature and your contact info. Signature and contact info. That's what people care about. Your signature and your contact info. The other stuff is good. Your medium, the style, and blah, blah, blah. And, the date, the dimensions. That's cool. But it's a given, right? They see the painting and they know if it's oil or acrylic. Anyone that knows a little bit of art can tell you this is acrylic, this is oil, this is mixed media, or whatever. But the signature and the contact info make it authentic, make it very authentic. I know many people don't talk about the contact info. I stress it. I stress it because you're trying to tell people, look, I am here to stay. I am playing the long game. You can count on me. You can actually buy my work and know that 10 years from now, I'm still going to be producing work. And because you bought early work, right, it's going up in value. You have two things working for you. You have the vintage factor that will never go away. You buy a piano right now, a guitar, whatever, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, it's a vintage guitar. If you take care of it, it's going to go naturally up in value. Artwork, of course you're going to take care of it. What are you going to do with it? You can't use it. So it just stays in a glass or in a frame. That's why it goes up in value, because nobody messes with it, right? Other things you have to take care of them, like magazines. You have to put them in a plastic cover. You can never open it, and blah blah blah. Because they're things that you use, right, with your hands. So that's why you guys ever seen Pawn Stars or any of those shows, stuff that you use with your hands, knives or spoons or whatever, right? Stuff that you use, shoes, vintage, hats, jackets, whatever. It gets worn out because it's worn. That's why it gets worn out, because it's worn. It's used. And artwork, it doesn't. You just get it, you store it, or you hang it. That's the cool thing. So that's why the value doesn't get affected. That's why the vintage factor is so important, because it doesn't really get affected. You buy a piece of artwork, 30 years from now, it looks the same way, except some dust, just dust it off. That's all. And that's the cool thing. But if you're making a name, right? If you're showing up in the marketplace, you're selling, you're participating in the marketplace. What I mean by this is that you're on social media, punching on social media. You're in art gallery shows. You're punching in the art gallery shows. People are recording, right? Exhibits, events, and whatnot, articles. And you're showing up. You're showing up. That's another factor. That's not only vintage factor. That's name recognition factor, right? And then you have the third factor, which is my favorite factor. No, it's not my favorite factor, but they're all three. All three of them are great. It's raising value, right? Your artwork. It's the wash factor. I like to call it the wash factor. It's when your artwork gets sold and resold into the market. I love that. Some people say, "Oh my God, someone's selling my artwork." I'm like, "Good." They're like, "No, I want to sell my artwork. I just don't want. I don't like it when people sell my artwork cheaper than I would sell it for, right? Than I'm selling it for on my. That's when I get kind of like, because you're hurting my brand now, right? I feel like you're hurting my brand. But if you bought something for me for $100 and you're selling it for $500, dude, keep doing that, because it helps, right? It's going back into the marketplace. It's the washing. It goes back. Anyways, that's a whole other, that's for another discussion. I'll leave you guys with that. Don't forget, you're doing your certificate of authenticity. Put your info. Don't be afraid. No one's going to go chase you down and say, "Give me my money back. I don't want your shitty painting." If that does happen, it's okay. It's part of the job. Okay? Don't be afraid of that. It comes with the job. I'll leave you guys with that. My name is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist. Take care. Adios, people.